Hello, welcome to Meaghan Chitwood Live, powered by BNI. In this episode, we are going to be talking about International Networking Week because today, Monday, we are kicking off International Networking Week. And we're also going to talk about the difference between networking and building a referral relationship. So let's get started. We want to remind you that you can always catch us every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, kicking off your week so that you have something to think about as you start and continue to grow your business on both Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And you can also catch the replay on other media channels as well. So let's talk about it. International Networking Week. International Networking Week happens the first full week in February every single year. It has been going on for years and years. It is a BNI initiative to help raise awareness of networking across the world. One of the things that BNI has found, which is very interesting, as we all speak the language of referrals. It doesn't matter if we are different culturally or if we are have different ethnic backgrounds. It seems that the idea of building trust and helping each other grow each other's businesses works in every single country in the world so far. We're in about 72 of them. So, but they're working in all 72. And so one of the things about networking that I think people really misunderstand is how networking and referrals actually work together. So in this video, we're going to talk about, because we're trying to grow our business by 30%. And last week I talked about how referrals is the best way to do that. Now let's talk about what's the difference between networking and building relationships to get referrals. So picture this. You're going to a chamber event. It's a large open networking event. And you show up and you register, you get a name tag, you walk in and you see 200 people out there, mingling, mixing, all that kind of stuff. That is networking. That is you going into an unstructured spot to go out, strike up conversation with people and see what happens. See what kind of people you meet, see who might be interesting to potentially start building a relationship with. The others might be see also who potentially just happens to need your product or service. Now, most of the time people go to a networking event because they are trying to get business. But I want to ask you the question, how many of you go to a networking event to buy something? Anyone? No. Nobody ever goes to a networking event to buy something. They go to a networking event looking to grow their own businesses, but they're never going to a networking event to buy something. So because of that, basically you're going in and you're striking up a conversation and you're starting to tell people about what you do. And you're really getting lucky as to whether or not that person happens to need your product or service. Somebody might have just lost their financial advisor, or they might have just lost their maid service or their landscaper, right? All of those things might have happened in that person's life, and they may need your product or service. But there's no predictable way to know who in that room actually needs your product or service. No one's in there looking to buy things. So they're not like actively walking around saying, hey, I'm looking for a landscape company. So it's really going into those situations and seeing how fate, chance, how does all of that work? How can you bump into people who might actually have a great symbiotic relationship with you? That's really kind of how those work. Now, with networking events, you can be a little bit more strategic than that. One of the great things that you can do is you can get to know the organizers of the event. So if you know people who are hosts of the event, sometimes you can walk in the door, even that 200-person event that I mentioned, you can walk in the door and say, hey, I'm looking to meet bankers. And a lot of times the people who are hosting may be able to help you identify who might be a banker in the room, or may even better be able to introduce you to a banker in the room if you're looking to meet bankers. But you have to think about that proactively. You have to think about who's going to actually be in the room, and then how are you going to actually be able to identify those people in the room that you really want to talk to. So that's networking, right? That's networking. That's going in. You're going to proactively introduce yourself to people. You're going to help people get to know you a little bit better, but you're not going to necessarily know where that next sale is going to come from. Now, how does that differ from creating a referral relationship? When you create a referral relationship, you are building trust with another person. When you build trust with that person and you identify, yeah, you do something, you can help me. I do something where I can help you. And we can come together and say, yeah, let's start actively working on helping each other get business. Now that becomes proactive. Okay. That becomes very much proactive. Now, a lot of times people think of BNI as a networking organization. As a networking organization, but it's not really a networking organization, because when we walk into the room and we see all the people there, we're seeing them on a regular basis. We're seeing them on a weekly basis. Again, nobody comes to BNI to buy things. So that's one thing that they have in common, but we already have that baseline of a relationship. So when I start talking about my business in a room full of BNI people, I can become more proactive. I can stand up in my elevator pitch, which I would normally have for a networking event, that would be something about an interesting thing about my business, to have somebody say, hey, tell me more. But in a BNI meeting, I stand up and I say, this is my name, this is my company name, this is my profession. And basically this is who I'm looking to meet over the next several weeks. So I actually come in and say, these are the people who I'm looking to meet. Sounds similar to when I said about if you could find a host who can introduce you to people in the room of certain professions. Same thing here. I'm going to actually say who I'm looking to meet, and hopefully somebody in the room knows that person and will set up that introduction for me. So we already have a baseline of a relationship in the room. We have a baseline of trust in the room. So we can go ahead and, instead of it being like a new relationship where I'm saying, hey, this is who I am and this is what I do, I can jump right into, this is what I do and this is what I'm looking for. And strategically, this is why I want to meet that person. And this is how you can introduce me to that person. And someone hopefully in the room knows them so they can make that introduction for you. So it's very different. It might sound subtle to some, but it's very, very different. Networking event, you assume you don't have relationships and you're just starting the relationship. A referral group, you actually have relationships built within that group. And now you're using the people that those people in the room know, and you're being much more strategic about what you're looking for. This one tends to be a lot more reactive. This one tends to be much more proactive, or can be much more proactive, which is why you want to consider, as you're trying to increase your referrals by building relationships with other business professionals, you want to consider networking groups when you're doing that. So because, again, you're going to get to know those people, you're going to have some familiarity. When you have familiarity, I will introduce you to who I know if I know you well and I have a trusting relationship with you. Okay, so that's the difference between a networking group and a referral group. Why would you want to be a part of both of them? I sometimes hear people say, I'm a part of a referral group. I get a bunch of referrals from them. Why would I want to network? Why would I want to network? Because, as I mentioned earlier, networking helps you create new relationships. None of us have a complete network. None of us. Okay. Me included. I know a whole lot of business people across Northern Alabama. I don't have a complete network. I don't have a painter in Huntsville, as an example. I do not have a complete network. We will never have a complete network. It is always changing. It's ever evolving. So I go to a networking event to see if I can meet people that I can start additional relationships with. And then I can see, it's kind of like dating. I can see, who do I want to talk to again next? Who do I find, interesting enough to say, hey, I think this person could be a really good referral partner for me. Or, hey, I really think I could help this person out. Or, hey, that person mentioned something that, in fact, if once they get to know me, they might be able to pass me a referral. It's that brand new relationship. That brand new relationship helps because in networking groups, or in referral groups, we're trying to complete our network. We're trying to have a tight-knit network where everyone in the room are people that we can pass business to or can pass business to us. So networking events is a great place to go to create a new relationship, to potentially introduce you to your referral relationships. And that is how we get visitors into our referral groups, right? It's how we get visitors. The other thing is there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people in this world that would never want to commit to a referral relationship group. There's a lot of them. So, but you'll find them here, and it doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means that they are people that you're going to have to create and nurture a relationship with outside of your referral group. Okay, does that kind of make sense? So let me kind of try and process this out for everyone. Let's say I don't have a network at the moment, and I'm not going to just go join a referral group. I'm going to actually build it up. What I would do is I would go to a networking event. I would meet people that I say, oh my gosh, this person seems like they have very common values, or they seems like it is someone who I could promote to people that I know. I meet that person. I start building that relationship. I bring them into the concept of having a referral relationship, and we become referral partners. Okay. So now there's two of us. We're going to both go out then and say, who else can we bring in to this referral relationship that we have here? And we're both going to go out now to those networking events separately. We're going to meet people, and we're going to bring them into this referral group that then we're going to get to know them, and we're going to continue building that out. So now we have about 4 people who would be interested in building referral relationships. And we would keep doing that. If you're in a referral group now, that's exactly what you need to do to continue to build out your referral group and complete your network so that, and sidebar, why do I say complete your network? You never want to have someone call you up and say, do you know someone who, and you not be able to say yes. Okay. So I mentioned, I don't have a painter in Huntsville. Someone calls me up and says, hey, Meaghan, do you have a painter in Huntsville? I have to say, no, that's not good, right? That's not good, because that was one person I wouldn't be able to help because I don't have a painter in Huntsville. I then go out, I find that painter in Huntsville, I bring them into my referral group so that I can continue to have that and build that relationship with them. And I can put some structure to that relationship so that it doesn't become one of the things where every once in a while we talk to each other. It becomes something where we can put some structure around it and we can get them referrals proactively developed. Okay. So a few things. Networking groups are awesome because you might find a new client. You might find somebody you really want to get to know better and who could be a great referral partner to you. You want to go to those because you just want to have visibility in the community, because visibility adds to credibility, which adds to profitability. Now we swing it over here. Oh, you want to go be back over here at networking groups because you want to bring some of those people into your referral world, right? Okay. Over here, if you want proactive referrals on a consistent basis, you need to be a part of a referral group. You need to be a part of a group that gets together regularly so that you can not only build that initial relationship you start here, but you can get to trusting and trusting and trusting and trusting. You become friends. You become people who really want to go out of their way to really help each other as well. Okay. So this is proactive. This is reactive. Proactive. I'm building this relationship. I'm working on completing my network. I've added structure around my network because it just makes things a little bit easier to proactively get referrals if we have that structure. That's the difference between networking and referral groups. Okay. Both of them are very important. Both of them I highly recommend everyone participate in. Absolutely everyone, especially if you're going to use referrals to help grow your business by 30%. You need really both of these avenues to be able to do that. And that is the difference between referral groups and networking groups. So I want to say happy International Networking Week to all of you. I highly encourage you to go out and find at least one networking group to visit. Also, go find a referral group to visit as well. And so that you can start to see what I'm talking about when it comes to how you're going to build relationships and continue that through. All right, next week we're going to start what is a referral process, and we'll talk about what is that referral process and how do you train your referral partners to understand that process. So we will see you again next week.